There's no such thing as a prayerless revival. Nope. Historically, never happened. It's not like all of a sudden the Holy Spirit flew over like a bomber and just dropped a big old revival bomb in an area. Boom! It went off and people were like, what happened? They wake up speaking in tongues. That's not the way that it happens. It begins with a revival of prayer where people learn how to pray in a way that empowers God to answer their prayer. And, this kind of thinking makes God responsible for answering prayers rather than us learning how to pray in a way that empowers God to answer and not even realize that God is disappointed he can't do more in my life. And that kind of prayer begins with what David displays passionately. I shared a little bit about this on Thursday night, and honestly, God, I'm so devastated because you're so far from answering me, and I feel forsaken. Psalm 22, verses 1 and 2. My God, why have you forsaken me? Ever felt that way? If you haven't, don't worry, you will. My God, why have you forsaken me? Some of us don't feel forsaken because we never invited him in the first place. We quit praying a long time ago, so we don't feel forsaken. We're in the fog. We don't know what we feel. Why are you so far from helping me? And from the words of my groaning, oh my God, I cry in the daytime, but you do not hear. And in the night season, and you're silent. Where are you? If you aren't honest about your feelings, then you're in denial about where you are. I like what Cecily shared. When you accept responsibility for your feelings, you do something to change them. You don't just go on like, well, I guess that's not the way it is. Your feelings now are the register of reality. But you have to be careful you don't detach from your emotions rather than resolving your emotions. And that's what religious people do. They pray emotionless, repetitive, unmoving, mechanical prayers. I hate that. I grew up with that. It's the passionate prayer of a righteous man that God answers. God gave you emotions, and those emotions can be used for either negative or they can use for positive, or you can take those negative emotions and get rid of them, and God can replace them with positive emotions. It's the prayer of a passionate man that avails much. It's not a prayer of a mechanical man. God doesn't want 10 men, like in The Wizard of Oz. To be detached from your emotions is to be detached from your passion. Are you fooling God? When you go into prayer and you're really, really, really devastated, you're really, really disappointed that God hadn't answered your prayer. Oh God, I thank you that you always answer prayer. God knows how you're feeling. Don't be a phony with God. God knows phony when he sees phony. Well, that's my faith expression. Well, you better do what King David does and get rid of that emotional expression so faith expression can take its place. You're not fooling God. Tell him how you're feeling. That's what David did. That's what I like about him so much. Don't blame or make him responsible, but tell him how you're feeling. And he does this by recognizing God's holiness. So he's telling him how he's feeling and everything, but then he points out, this can't be God's fault because he's holy. But you are holy, enthroned in the praises of Israel. If there's a problem, it's not with God because he's holy and he's a righteous God. And I have to approach him in prayer in a way that does not violate his righteousness or holiness. Now, some of us misunderstand that to mean I have to come and be a fake. No. You can tell God how you feel without him having to be to blame. But tell him. If you ever want to have a desire to pray, you got to deal with those desires that are keeping you from praying, the desires of disappointment, the desires of feeling abandoned and forsaken like King David did.